Welcome, Keith, to this group. I'm just going to recap for the benefit of my editing. So, Keith, I think you were on a boat called Abel Tasman. You are currently about to embark on the Northwest Passage, and you're joining this group currently as a non-OCC member, but you're interested in finding out what's going on. Is that right, Keith? Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you, Simon, and really great to meet you all. I had the great pleasure of meeting Gerd and Melissa, and also George, just in the last couple of days, because we're moored right next to each other. Yes, I'm the owner of Abel Tasman. I've got two other colleagues who will hopefully join in a moment. They're my captain and first mate, who are young 25, 26-year-old students. They're the captain and first mate of my boat. And yes, we're heading across the Northwest Passage. We've sailed from Bergen, Norway, sort of been sailing from there for the last sort of 19 days. We had a few days in Iceland as well. And we hope to head north on probably on Monday morning. So we've got, we will have 9 on board in total. At the moment, we have 6 on board. We've got 3 others joining us in the next couple of days. And we'll end up hopefully in Homer by the end of September, early October. So yeah, really great pleasure meeting you all. And sorry for the background noise. I'm just quickly gobbling down the final remnants of dinner. So that's why I go on mute once I stop talking.
Before you stop talking, tell us a bit about Abel Tasman. I looked it up online. It looks at an amazing ship, I think is the best description.
Yeah, Abel Tasman is a unique boat. She was built in 1981 by an individual in the Netherlands. He built only 2 boats, and it literally was built in his backyard. And sadly, he passed away soon after building the Abel Tasman. I'm the third owner. And the first owner was from Belgium. The second owner was from the Netherlands. I'm Australian. Bought her about 9 years ago now. All over the world. My previous captain, a guy called Roger Wallace, who some of you may know. Roger was a very, very, very capable and experienced polar sailor. He's back in Tasmania now. But Roger, a very close friend for over 25 years. He was looking after the boat for several years. Abel Tasman, yeah, steel hull. And by the way, Alex and Isaac, I think, have just joined, and in my bottom left to introduce themselves as well. And Abel Tasman is, sails beautifully in the big seas, good, strong steel hull. We have berth for nine people on board. But Isaac and Alex actually know the Abel Tasman best of all because they've been living on the boat for the last 3 years while they've been attending Bergen University as oceanography and climate students. So maybe I'll speak quickly to Isaac and Alex to quickly self-introduce, if that's okay. Isaac?
That'd be great. Alex and Isaac, go ahead, please.
Hi, guys. Should I start?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm Isaac, Alex, and we're brothers.
Yep.
And we've sailed all our lives together. And we're now the crew on the Abel Tasman. So I'm skipper, first mate. And yeah, we're studying in Bergen. You can say something about Bergen.
I don't know. Yeah, we're studying oceanography in Bergen, where we lived on Abel Tasman for years and sailed trips around northern Norway.
Nice. That's great. Thank you for joining in this evening and this afternoon for me. Thank you. We'll come back to you guys. Tom, good to see you. You can pop up my screen. Where are you at the moment? I think you're north of Nuuk now, aren't you? Up at Sisimiut or somewhere?
We are indeed, Simon. Well done. Yeah, we're in Sisimiut, and very pleasant it is here too, in the company of 1, 2, 3 other NWP candidates for this year. So that's pretty privileged. One of whom, George, wherever you are, is a member of the OCC.
Oh, who's that? Who? Oh, sorry. Who's
George.
up in Sicily? George is in
on
Nuke.
migration.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
right. Okay, I thought George was still in Nuke, but I must have got. Okay, he moves quickly. Fantastic.
Yes, a fast boat.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
So
And these guys were very good to us this afternoon, Simon, because we were struggling with our outboard motor. We'd tried 4 steps to get it going, and we were on the 5th and final step that would not be too much of a challenge for us. And they came and said hello, and they said, "We're from Tohatsu, USA, and we've come to help you," which of course was not entirely accurate. And anyway, we said hello. Sorry, we can't be more sociable. We've got to fix this. And they went away. And we tried the final thing, and behold, our outboard sprang into life. So we're very grateful.
fantastic. So all's good in Night Owl. We'll go to George. George, welcome to Sisumiat. How are things on migration?
Very good. We got in this morning about, well, actually, it was about noon, I guess. And we're anchored here. There are 4 of us together. And we've been to Sissamute before. We've got a guest that's coming in this evening that's going to join us. We'll be here for a few days, probably leave Monday or Tuesday to work our way up toward Ilulissat.
Great. You're actually going right the way into Ilulissat. You're not just going to you're going to go and enjoy the glaciers up there.
We've been there. We were there in 2014. We probably will go into Road Bay, which is an anchorage north of there. We weren't able to get into Ilulissat last time. And I'll have to see what conditions are when we get up, but that's the plan anyhow.
Yeah, we had a lot of ice in Ilulissat, never made it in there. It's yeah.
Yep.
Great if you can get in. It's a good place to get to. So Gert and Melissa, how are things on board tour? And you're presumably still in Nuuk, is that correct?
Yes. We are here in Nuuk, and the weather cleared up again. We had quite a lot of rain the last couple of days. Wasn't quite so comfortable, but it's a great place. And I like to just add quickly a couple of infos about Nuuk, if I may so. Nuuk is a bit of a madhouse, like it always has been, I guess, with hot berthing and boats changing around and around. And we had a good talk with the harbor master a few days ago. And unfortunately, it looks like that next year there might be no yachts allowed in Nuuk at all. Nuuk's completely banking on cruise ships. And the small boat facility, whatever you want to call it, that one parallel with the cliff face, will be completely closed to yachts. And it will be used only for tour boat operators who take passengers off the cruise ships. So we of course don't know how far it goes, but the harbor master was 100% sure that there will be a huge input on the traveling yachts coming through. And only the future will bring if they will build a new facility for us cruising boats. But definitely for next year, it will be not a very convenient place to sail through.
That's a very big change, because when we were there,
it seems they're also enlarging the airport, so bigger planes can land. So they're counting on building up the tourism. The harbor master told me that I asked him if there is a plan for a sailboat harbor or some floating pontoons or something, and he said at the moment there are no plans.
Yeah, correct, yes.
But I can report we're in the north of the city, in a bay with a complicated name. But it's a great anchorage bay. We have great holding. It's super protected. The downside is you have to dinghy to shore and obviously carry up your dinghy because there is 4 meter tide. There is no proper dock. You just have to land your dinghy on the beach, and then carry it up.
And then hike up a hill to the nearest road.
I mean, it's a bit more adventurous, but from an anchorage perspective, it works very well.
Well, that's a good point. And I, for some reason, we weren't allowed into the small boat dock 4 or 5 years ago, and had to dock on that on the piers, which isn't great if you've got a small plastic boat. It's very difficult to fender without a really big fender board. But I presume everybody else has managed to get into the small boat dock this year, have they?
We've done a bit of both.
We were at the big dock as well. Yeah, it's there was no space for us really at the small boat harbor. So a couple of us had to go onto the big dock. So yeah, but like we said, but only time will tell what happens tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So when are you planning on going?
Tomorrow,
Heading off, Gerton? When's tour going up to your next stop?
Well, we had a little thing we had to deal with today, a little outboard issue. So it looks like that's taken care of. So we're thinking Monday, Tuesday. We had wanted to go up and look at some of the area right around Nook. We were hoping to leave today, but what can you say? Things don't always work out the way you want. So Monday, Tuesday, and we were just going to coast hop, just do little 50-mile hops.
And moving now to Adriano and his crew on Voyager. So you had a stormy passage, I gather. You had to Nuke from St. John's. Is that?
Yeah, it was a bit okay. I mean, it was wind to the low 30s. What was a bit surprising was the waves that were kind of from all over the place. They kind of, I think they somehow ricocheted back from the ice, or somehow we just had super confused seas, even when the wind let up, and that made for quite an uncomfortable passage. But otherwise it was fine. I mean, the winds were in the low 30s and manageable.
Icebergs.
And some icebergs, of course.
So the icebergs in the first 50 miles or midday the Strait?
Both, yes. In the first 50 miles, then a break, and then when we approached Nuuk, we had icebergs and some bergy bits. And then also in the entrance canal to Nuuk.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, we're still at the stage where we're super excited to see icebergs. It's always a little party.
I think that will wear off fairly soon.
Adriano, where did you say you left from again? From
we left from a Royal Newfoundland Yacht Club in Conception Bay South, opposite St. John's.
That's where I am now. You said you had ice for the first 50 miles?
Yeah, no, even more, maybe 100.
That's good to know, because I'll be doing that next week.
But it wasn't very thick. I mean, we only saw big icebergs, which showed very well on the radar. No small drifting ice.
That's good information. Thanks.
Say hello to Greg.
I will. He's been very helpful to us.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah,
he's great. And Ted as well, and everyone actually.
Yeah,
we had a meet up here and had a few pints with him. Yeah.
I mean, you know, as a contrast to what we just heard about Nuuk, the Royal Newfoundland Yacht Club is a super welcoming and helpful place.
Yes.
And a great place to prepare your trip. You have all the stores there. People help you. They drive you around. They show you everything. It's an awesome place.
It's a very special place, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. So everybody there at the moment. So, Victor, of course. Victor's joined us. Tell us what the ice conditions are looking like further north, Victor.
Oh, well, we'll see really in a few days when the 15-day, on the 15th of July, when the 30-day forecast will be published. Okay, and it's but really and truly on the east end, the big barrier is in the Baffin Bay. Um, ice barrier is actually building up. Okay, so the crossing into the Lancaster Sound, it will be somehow delayed. Okay, it's nothing new really about. In the past years, it's been kind of norm, and many sailors would actually sail way north of 75 and then coming back to Lancaster. Okay, so just rounding up all that heavy ice from the north. Okay, now on the west side, I don't see Randall here. Okay, maybe he is. But anyways, on the west side, there's a very heavy 10-10 ice right along Beaufort's, and it's not easing off. So we're just waiting for some good storms to move that. Okay, so that's all I can actually say right now, and we'll see it in a few days. And as soon as I'll receive it, I'll just email to you all.
So
Thank
Victor,
you very much.
reaching the popular press, the non-yachting press. There's an article I read this week about less sea ice, first-year ice, is causing more movement of the multi-year ice further south, and making the Northwest Passage more difficult. Is that your experience? Is it the multi-year ice that's causing the problems?
Well, it's an old ice. Okay, it's an old ice. It's a first category. It's a previous year ice. Okay, and then in a multi-year ice, that's what it generally called. Okay, it could be 20 or even 50 years old ice. It's as hard as steel. That's the problem, and typically when it occurs, it's it's at least 2 meter thick.
Ooh.
Okay, with that multi-year. Okay, but if you just take a look on the egg schedule, okay, with all those numbers, okay, and in the third line of the egg code, you have a number with a dot behind it. If that dot is there, then you can read that dot and it reflects on the old ice.
Hmm.
Okay, so just keep that in mind, because most of the sailors, they just say, oh, well, I only care about the concentration, nothing else. No, what kind of ice is there? That's very, very important. And a partial concentration is also very important, okay, because if you have a 3-1 partial concentration or 1-3, that's a big difference. Okay, so so that second line also has to be read very carefully, and obviously the third line, the very last fourth line, obviously it says about the shape of that ice. Okay, is it a big ice falls? Okay, it could include the land origin ice, which is typically icebergs and the growlers. So and it also says some specific, just like the pancake ice with a round shape type of thing, and some other forms that you can read. You can read in that schedule that I all send you. Okay, so just read that, nothing in between the lines. Oh well, that's good. That's good. You're actually pointing as a lawyer, about those small lines.
So Victor, if you're a betting man, when would you say the Baffin Bay will open?
Well, well, betting. I don't gamble. Okay, let's put it this way. I used to. Okay, I used to play bridge and stuff like that. Okay, but I'm not gambler. Okay, so from practical point of view, I would say roughly in between the 5th and 10th of August, it should open. Otherwise, there would be a delays. But over the past few years, we had the open seas well late into the season on the west end, which is a very helpful thing. Except when you arrived in September in Bering Sea, you arrive to the place full of storms and very vicious storms. Okay, so that's a trap. Okay, and so if there is a delay, eventually everything gets delayed in the eastern end of Arctic. Okay, so I had the instances when some people would leave Greenland even around 20th of August, which is kind of late. Okay.
Yeah.
And they made it, okay, with some trouble in the Bering Sea. Those storms, and so that's what I can actually summary this time, and we'll have to be just patient for those outlooks.
So, Victor,
Because if you check the ice charts right now, they're actually nothing, only except once a week there's a Eastern Arctic shown and Western Arctic shown on Wednesdays. Okay, and you can find it on the internet. Okay, and but those charts are actually prepared over a few days, and not necessarily they are very precise. So it's only the overview, nothing else.
So Victor, Randall hasn't joined us today. I guess with one of the storms you mentioned in the Bering Strait. But just tell us a bit about his progress. He's gone past Dutch Harbour and he's up in the Bering Sea now, isn't he? Is that right?
Well, I think so. But it's such a beginning. It's still July. Okay. It's a very green month type of thing. Okay, or very beginning of it. Okay, yes, we would like to know everything right now. Okay, but the Arctic keeps its secret.
So Randall's one day out of Nome. He's headed into Nome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been following his. Well, it's more Harmon's blog, isn't it? It's Randall Harmon's blog. It's quite entertaining about the various fishing encounters they've had, or encounters with fishermen on the Alaska coast. Sounds brilliant. Have you guys cruised Alaska before? Have you been there before?
Sorry, we can't hear you. You're breaking up a bit.
Okay. Have you guys cruised in Alaska before on tour?
Yes.
Or?
Yes, we have quite extensively. Yeah. And we will be keeping Thor for a couple of years in Alaska if we make it through the passage.
And we're on the hard now, but there's another Garcia exploration, but this time a 52 hauled out about 10 meters from us, who is also an Ocean Cruising Club member, who is also heading up to Alaska and the Northwest Passage, but for next season. So you might come across him. Their boat is called Life Explorer. It's a very, very beautiful boat. Swiss, I think. Adriano, do you know?
No.
Alberto, I want to say something like Biglione or something like that.
No.
Swiss Italian, I think.
Okay, say hello.
He's not here. His boat's hauled out. He's back in Switzerland. But
all right, okay.
Trying to get him to join into one of these videos.
But we may see him then if we get through. We also plan to spend some time in BC and Alaska, so we may see him then.
Right. And what are the plans for Abel Tasman once she gets through the Northwest Passage? Where is she going to be heading?
So, and by the way, just a quick question: what's the name of the guy from Switzerland you just mentioned, Simon?
Well, let me look it up. I'll just give it you accurately rather than.
The reason I asked is only because I actually live in Switzerland, and so still getting to know the sailing, the offshore sailing community in Switzerland, which is a unique.
So where do you live?
Unique group.
Where do you live?
I live near just near Lake Geneva, Lake Le Mans, and I need about an hour from Geneva, a little town called Villars-sur-Olon, near
nice.
Montreux.
Nice place.
Yeah,
So
it's not very convenient to keep the Abel Tasman there. That's why we keep elsewhere.
No,
but
so Barbara Courvoisier, who are based on Lake Geneva, and their boat is currently in the southern hemisphere. They've just gone rounded Cape Horn and have hauled out in Valparaiso. But Thierry and Barbara are OCC, and they live on Lake Geneva. She has a vineyard there.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, well, we're not far away from each other.
And Andrew Castles, I think, is Swiss-based. Victor will probably be able to correct me, but he came through the Northwest Passage last year. He too lives in Switzerland. The guy whose boat is 10 meters from us is called Alberto Bifignandi, and his address is Silva Plana.
Okay. That's near San Moritz.
Okay.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
In the Engadine Valley. Very nice place.
Very nice boat.
Another boat, by the way, that's up here, but is down South Greenland at the moment, is called Forel, Forel, and that's a yacht that was recently, I guess, pretty much converted to a much more of a science-based boat. But it's sponsored by EPFL, which is one of the universities in Lausanne. And they're doing scientific research around the intersection between glaciers and the ocean down southern Greenland. So I just mentioned them because of the Swift connection, and also another very interesting venture. Then they're not doing the Northwest Passage this year. They're focused on southern Greenland. But Simon, to answer your question, actually still undecided exactly what we're doing post, but we will be leaving Abel Tasman in Homer over winter. So we'll spend a bit of time with her after the expedition, a bit of renovation, take her out of the water, and then come back post-winter. Undecided whether we sail for several weeks around Alaska next spring, or whether we we come back, do the return journey back to Greenland and potentially onto Norway in 2025. But at the moment, it's the likely plan, but it's not totally certain.
Sounds good to have some uncertainty in your plans. Sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Tom, we've not you guys today. Again, you're in Sisumiat and presumably heading up to Disco Bay in the next week or so. Would that be right? No sound at the moment. You're muted at the moment.
How's that, Simon?
That's much better. Yeah.
Have you got me? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we're heading north. We have a guest on board who is getting off around Ilulissat, and then there will be two of us on board, myself and Chris. That's Chris. Say hello, Chris.
Hi. Hi, Chris.
And yep, then we'll wait our moment to probably go up to Upernavik and then across.
Right, super, excellent. Yep. Well, that's probably all for this week, I think. Should we hook up again in 2 weeks' time? Does that sound all right?
Good by me.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. We'll hook up in roughly 2 weeks' time, and we'll adjust the time zone according to where we all are. But at least it looks like it's daylight.
With any luck, we're all sitting at the Hudson Bay hut in Fort Ross together,
Very
having
good.
a whiskey.
Very good. Very good. So I'm going to sign off at this end, but great to see you guys, and we'll be dialing in from Europe next time, so it'll be a bit cooler. We'll be sweating less, but and of course you'll be that bit cooler as well. So good luck with your voyages, and good that everything's going well. Cheers now.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Bye. Bye-bye.